On November 10th, Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson reunite on the big screen as Captain Marvel and Nick Fury to assemble the MCU's next team, the Marvels. After Captain Marvel gets her powers entangled with teenage superhero Miss Marvel and Captain Monica Rambeau, the three heroes will learn teaming up changes everything. Don't miss Captain Marvel's return November 10th in the Marvels, only in theaters. Rated PG-13. Get your tickets now. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have a very special guest here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Tasman McDonald. I own Max Fry House here in Waco, Texas, with my husband, Larry McDonald, and I'm so happy to be here.
Yay! We're so glad to have you on. I'm so glad we were able to get this scheduled and finally have you guys on the show. One of the first questions I love to ask our guests when they come on the show is, what brought you to Waco, or are you a Waco native?
Okay, so we came to Waco in 2020. My husband works at Baylor, so his job brought us to Waco. So no, we are not native. We are from North Carolina, and we moved to Texas in 2015 so Larry could go to grad school. So he went to grad school, stayed on and worked at Texas A&M for 5.5 years, and now we are at Baylor. We've been at Baylor for 4 years. So we coming up on a home run here.
Yay, I love that.
So almost 10 years. Wow.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, we're so glad to have you here in the Waco area.
Thank you.
And you guys are entrepreneurs and business owners and have so much going on. We're here today to talk about a big, exciting thing that you guys just went into. So tell me all about it.
Okay, so we own a Southern Comfort food truck and now brick and mortar and catering service here in Waco. The restaurant is new. We just opened on the 29th of September. So the 28th or 29th, whatever the Friday was, we opened on a Friday. But it's been fantastic.
Yay.
I absolutely loathe the food truck. It's so hot.
You have AC now.
Real AC.
Real AC.
You know, the fake AC with, it's in your truck and you have an AC unit, but
with the doors open and everything.
Yes, the exhaust fan sweeps it out the truck as soon as it blows, so it's like irrelevant, you know, that it's even there. Pointless waste of money, but no.
Glad you have it, though.
So at least we're out of 115 plus degree heat. So if it's 115 outside, it's 130 in the truck.
Wow.
So it is truly my happy dance to be out of the food truck.
And this is your first brick and mortar, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Great. It's been going great.
Good.
Yes. A pretty easy transition, I must say. So working with Union Brands has been great. They've had some change in leadership as well. So this is our second visit considering Union Hall.
Oh, wow.
And this time around was just the perfect opportunity.
Yay.
So shout out to Union Brands.
We love you guys.
Yes. And we are trudging on along.
Yes.
Like, the hall has welcomed us with open arms. So many of the vendors have stopped by, asked us what could they do to help us, given us advice. So it's been great.
Such a good little community.
Yes, it's been great.
That's amazing. So how long have you been working the food truck? How long has this been going on?
We started the food truck March 2022. We ended up, so COVID was 2021, where we kind of in COVID 2021, when we tried to get back to some sense of normalcy. My husband works in athletics, and so when the football games would get canceled, we still would protect the team. And so that meant that if a game got canceled, we would get together. And at that time, it was literally a cohort of young people from 25, I would say, at the youngest, 27 to 40. So just young professionals. And so if the other school would end up not being able to play because of their numbers, of course the game would get canceled, or vice versa. And so in an effort to protect the team, we would hang out. Because we were all negative. You had to be, right? And so we would cook and have a kickback and play cards and watch whatever was on TV, like just have a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And of course, it got out of control. Like Larry was bringing over fryers to fry chicken. He loves to cook, like
I love
fry
that.
food, barbecue, things like
Yes.
that. And I enjoy cooking. Like Thanksgiving is
Mhm.
my favorite holiday. So,
Mhm.
and it's to cook. I don't necessarily like get into Christmas. Not, um, Christmas can just be so commercialized,
Yeah.
right? And so it's a draw, especially when
Mhm.
people, you're thinking about gratitude and gratefulness and the spirit of Christmas and what it should be, and it's not
Doesn't feel
that.
that way.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
just I find my sweet spot at Thanksgiving, and
Yeah.
so
And it's
I
all
love to
family
cook,
and
girl.
gathering and
Yes,
cooking
that's
and
my jam.
all
I
the
love to
things.
host, and so I was like, okay, we got sides catered in one time, and they weren't yummy. So I was like, I got it
You're like,
next
I'll
time.
do it myself.
I got it next time. And so that's what I did. And like our friends went crazy. And so of course
Mhm.
we're on the back end, like, y'all are only gassing us up because y'all are our friends. They were like, no, like
No,
y'all need a
this is
restaurant.
good.
And then from that,
Mhm.
can you cook for my family? Can you
Mhm.
guys make this and that? And it just kept snowballing. And uh, a joke started. My husband, I've never really told the truth about this part of the story,
Ooh,
but it's a
you
joke.
heard it here first.
Yes. So he's the director of recruiting. So
Mhm.
Coach Randy said, get a food truck and then we're going to go all over Texas and recruit. And I mean, of course it was a joke, but Larry was like, that's such a great idea. We should get a food truck so we can do da 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 da. And because he's always been able to cook, I was like, when you quit working in football, you show up in a restaurant. Like we
Mhm.
show up in a restaurant for you. Girl, he took that
And ran
took
with
off.
it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so, what was crazy though is it materialized without flaw
I love
or
that.
reason. Like
Yeah.
the joke ran in like November. Somebody reached out in December that he allowed to cater for him several
Mhm.
times. And they knew he loved to cook. And
Yeah.
yeah, people are telling us we should get a food truck. And he called and he's like, Larry, I just came upon a food truck. Like, are you sure you're not for
Mhm.
real interested? And so, I mean, that happened seamlessly. That was December. So it was like
Mhm.
November, December, January. We had all this like easy peasy formality
Mhm.
transition into having the truck. We
Yeah.
bought it. The paperwork was easy. We
Mhm.
got our licenses
All the
and
hard
all the
things.
hard things. And it was just
Do it.
trickle effect, right?
Yeah.
So we hit the ground running in March. And our very first event was the food truck showdown.
Yes.
So
Love the food truck showdown
that's
every year.
that's how we got started. And it was what we call peer pressure.
Mhm. I think that's in Waco. This is all peer pressure.
All peer pressure. So yeah, not a for real heart's desire. We do
Yeah.
love to cook, but we've both been in education all of our
Mhm.
careers. So he got his master's in sport management, but he was formerly a middle school teacher and high school
Yeah.
coach in North Carolina. And I worked in higher ed for all
I
of my
love that.
career.
Yeah, my husband, he's a middle school teacher, so
Yeah.
we know how it goes. Know
Oh,
how
girl,
it goes.
you know. What school's he at?
He's at Rappaport Academy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
over here in East Waco. Shout out.
All
Whoop whoop.
right. What does he teach?
He teaches social studies. So
Oh, my kind of guy.
he knows all the history facts. He's just a walking like textbook.
Of
He knows all
course.
the things.
Of course.
He tells me random facts all the time. I'm like, thank you, I guess. Now I
Oh,
know that.
yeah.
I would have never needed to know that, but now I do. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we have a heart for education. So that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
And then switching over to food. So what is your mission behind your business?
Oh, wonderful question. So again, still in education. So the mission is we do Southern comfort food. So we really love giving back to our community, and so our philanthropic arm is education, of course.
Yes.
So we do a lot of profit shares with the local independent school districts.
Have to do one for Rappaport.
We would love to. But a lot of our efforts are in community events.
Yeah.
And so you see us a lot.
I see you guys all at all the different pop-up events, all the markets, all the things.
Yeah. And so anything that brings the community together, we're for it. We don't really get tainted by cultural, religious, societal constructs or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs to eat, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we just do our best to support our community for whatever they have going on. And that has been a beautiful blessing for us because we've met some of the most incredible people in Waco.
Oh, yay.
By not worrying about what something is or isn't or what it looks like, and just worrying about serving food, staying in your own lane, and it works for us.
Yeah. And I mean, it's Southern comfort food.
Right.
So it has to be comforting.
And I love humans, so.
You got to be a people person. Love food, love people.
Yeah.
Love more is better than that. Are you guys planning on keeping the food truck and doing events and stuff?
So we've told a couple people no, right, already. But last night we had a guest at the restaurant, and he is a very much regular food truck goer, right? And I just blurted out, we actually are going to keep the truck. I thought Larry was going to die.
He was like, are we?
He was like, I mean, because every day it's like, are we going to keep the truck? Because we hate the truck. Don't get me wrong.
You're not the only food truck owner that has said that on the show. So.
Yes, girl, we hate it. It's a walking, driving
there you
headache.
Go. Yeah.
No, it's a lot with maintenance and things like that. That really the heat and worrying about our staff and if they're hot or if they're safe. You know what I mean? Like it's just a lot.
Struggle.
And then the generator, hauling a generator. It's our favorite thing to do.
Amazing, love that.
So I think we will keep it to do some local events and things like that, but I think we'll sell it eventually.
Okay, cool. And I mean, are you guys planning on doing some more expansion? Do you have any goals set in place?
Oh, it's a God thing. So I never
you gotta let go, let God.
Yeah. I never intended to be in hospitality at all, but I kind of go big with everything. Like if I do something or we do something, it's like we balance each other very well. And so what we have decided is, yes, I'm kind of taking over the operational arm of it just so he can continue to work because he's doing what he loves. Yeah. But I would love to see Max Firehouse, and our plan is to grow in sports and entertainment.
Ooh, that'd be so good.
Yes, so we're looking at different collegiate football stadiums.
Ooh, that's what I was going to say. Spot in a stadium would be amazing.
I don't know about Baylor, but just that frame, maybe baseball.
Yeah.
And I want to see us grow into like the Dallas Mavericks, the Houston Rockets, the airport, so DFW.
I love that.
Austin, yeah. So just anything like Texas Live. Have you ever heard of that? Just those types of opportunities is what we're really looking forward to doing.
That would be absolutely amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those too also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
And you didn't say hi.
I didn't. You just kept going. I'm going to introduce the book. I'm not reading it.
It's
because I don't like reading.
girls like cowboy butts, and those jeans don't hide anything. Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on roguemedianetwork.com.
And now, back to the episode. All right, and we're back. So we were just talking about all of your goals and aspirations and hopes for expansion. One of the things I love to ask our guests when we get back from break is, what is something you would like to see more of in Waco?
So Waco.
Oh boy, oh Waco.
Oh, Waco. No, seriously, Waco is growing. And I come from College Station.
Yeah.
In terms of my pathway in Texas. And one thing that they do very well is grow and grow quickly. And it's 77,000, kids on campus. And so I just would love to see, I hear so many of the powerful voices in our city talk about what we need and what we should do. And I see a lot of the planning and the efforts being put forth. But I just think that we're a little slow to turn it over. So I would love to see Waco trust themselves with their decisions.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And I hear, from the top to the bottom, to me, it's a cohesive growth mindset, right? But I think just generationally, it seems like everyone's waiting on somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pull the trigger type
One of
thing.
my slogans I always say is, be the Waco you want to see.
Yes.
You want something to happen? You got to be the one to do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
So, specifically for the food truck scene, that was really tough for us. And I didn't have to grind it out. Like, I'm not necessarily I wasn't super passionate about owning a food truck, right?
Yeah.
And then I have a master's in higher ed. So it's like I have always shown up to the food truck with a growth mind. Like, where do we go?
I love that.
How do we get there?
Yeah.
Never the hustle type of mentality, right? And what I try to tell people who ask about the food truck industry and Waco and things like that, there's no central gathering place for food trucks to really survive and park and set up on a day-to-day. So I learned that early on. And I think I would love to say I started really creating a model that I am so thankful that other trucks were able to kind of follow behind.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of heavy lifting that I would love to see other trucks not have to go through.
Yeah.
So events here, we'll get on this wave of a billion events, and then if it's way too hot, that kind of dies down.
I was gonna say, now we're in the busy season, but over the summer, it's you were talking about 130 degrees in a food truck.
No one's going outside.
You can't do that. Yeah, no.
And then there were no events. So when we came in the game, I mean, the summer was super blessed and crazy for us, and it almost was non-existent this summer.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of sacrifice where we paid our team out of our own savings and things like that. And then you just have that inconsistency in Waco.
Yeah.
So I would just love to see us create a park that truly I think Bridge Street is incredible.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a Bridge Street 2.0 where we have movies and parks and rec can really do.
I would love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Outdoorsy, kid-friendly, kind of how Magnolia has those balls and things that the kids can play with?
Yeah.
Just that type of vibe where you don't need necessarily permission.
Yeah.
You don't have to schedule and pay for an event. The community feels empowered to just go and be.
Yeah.
And the trucks have a fee that they can pay.
Yeah.
If they want to be there,
Do it,
around the
yeah.
clock, just do it.
Yeah, and there are other cities that do that, so it's doable.
It is very doable. So I don't think that type of latitude does not exist.
Yeah.
But I've called everybody who's everybody and
Yeah.
said, asking for permission, because it's better to ask for permission at Waco and not forgiveness.
Oop.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because you don't want to mess up your license and
Yeah.
you don't want to
Get in
offend
trouble,
you don't want to offend the wrong person,
Yeah.
right? So you do need to do things decent and in order, but I did find it was truly hard to kind of jump through the who's who hoops, especially if you're not from here.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have to have open air vending permitting. You really have to have a pretty swift ticket time, because if you're slow, you won't get invited back out. So we have an incredible ticket time. We have a 4-minute ticket time unless we're batching a fresh batch of food. So that adds 10 minutes. So we're less than 15 minutes.
Wow. That's amazing.
And when I
say
say fresh,
every time I've gotten food, it's been super fast. So.
Super fast. Yeah. So
and delicious.
Thank you so much. So just those types of things, I would just love to see more of I would love to see, young people getting more involved. I would love to see more unity and collaboration.
Yeah.
I think Waco's ready for it. I hear Waco talking about it. But I will say a lot of the different organizations who's doing the heavy lifting, a lot of our social media brands in town who are trying to push the community narrative.
Yeah.
Creative Waco's doing an amazing job.
We love you guys. Shout out Fiona. Shout out the team.
Yes. I mean, Kennedy and Fiona and all of their team. I mean, even Eric.
Eric Linares, love you. We just
Eastside
had him on the show a
Market.
couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. They're doing it. They're doing the things. But I really, I don't see Waco. And I don't.
Yeah.
And it's not just Waco. It's almost like sometimes you don't even see young people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
like,
feel that.
Community, sure, but then even young people, they bust their butts to bring this to our community. Like the series this summer.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have done better.
This summer was hard. And a lot of other business owners and entrepreneurs have said the same thing. I mean, even I felt it at the gallery this summer. It was like everything just stopped for 3 months. And it's crazy to think that here in Waco, we're having to go on this little cycle. And we're a college town, yes, but it shouldn't be that bad, right?
Correct. And it's a recession. And we're not willing to say that out loud. I'll say it for everybody. And so honoring that is hard the battle.
Yeah.
But I was telling someone yesterday, I don't really see a central communication hub. Like everybody's doing their own thing, and no, we don't need it to come from the city of Waco. No, we don't need it to come from a church. No, we don't need it to come from, this specific entity like, the Tribune or whatever, and not Baylor, right? But where is Waco's voice, where anybody who's everybody can really find out that general pool of information?
I love that. And there's not a place like that here in Waco, which is so crazy. And we have so many communities with such distinct voices and so much stuff going on that we need that here in our community in order to thrive.
And you know what's funny? You were the first and only person to ask us for an interview. And I have reached out to the local news, the newspaper. I sent emails, communications. I've added them boldly.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to go from a truck to a brick and mortar.
That's amazing. It's such a great thing to talk about.
In a quick time. I even tried to get on the news, I think, February this year to talk about what we had been through in honor of Black History Month. And of course, I'm sure they get,
so many
taps
people,
for stories forever and ever. Amen. But
Still.
I'm pretty intentional with like what I write. And so I think it's just that overwhelming sense of there's not more opportunity to communicate a message.
Yeah.
And so I don't know the answer to that, because I'm definitely, you have an opinion. You should have an answer. But the only thing I've seen that worked really well in College Station, just to kind of double back, even down to Texags, when they would
Mm-hmm.
talk about sports, they would even shout out what was going on in
Yeah.
College Station
Yeah.
sometimes. So I'm not necessarily, too sure about how we get the conglomerate together.
Yeah.
But I think if we do that,
That'd be amazing.
how awesome. We have the most nonprofits ever doing
Yeah.
fantastic work. I think if we get that under control, I think we'll be unstoppable.
I love that. And that's such an amazing message. Why do you think it's so important that you're here in Waco doing what you do right here in Waco right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's definitely a God thing. I think we were called to this space.
Yeah. Just a need. Yeah.
Yeah. My passion isn't, young people. Just making sure that generationally that they feel empowered and not using, their adversity to press forward and not tap into their resilience, right? So I recruited for underrepresented, graduate programs and professional schools at A&M, and I loved it, every minute of it. So I would fly all over the U.S. Recruiting domestic underrepresented minorities, and those are your best and brightest, but they don't have the
same resources, the same
backing to really get them through the application process or the scholarship process, or to know how to find the $5.50 that they need to go to school, or what free money exists. So I'm really passionate about young people and access.
I love
and I really don't care what race or ethnicity you are, but when your reality is poverty and when you are marginalized, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And so that has nothing to do with your brain. What you were born into has nothing to do with your gift, your talent, and who you were called to be. So
that's such an amazing message. I love that.
So I just think that, the food truck allows us the opportunity to spread love through our hands, and my gift is in my hands.
And in the food.
Hands. You know what I mean?
It's all on the hands.
So it's but I think that that's our purpose. Like Larry's living in his purpose, and especially like the way he feels about mentoring young
That's
men.
amazing. Yeah.
And I think it's just coming full circle with our ability to reach more, teach more, and impact more through hospitality.
I love that. Well, that's amazing. And it sounds like you guys are just really wanting to bring this community and make an impact here.
Yeah.
Is there anybody you want to shout out that's helped you along this journey? I know you've already had some amazing shout outs, but if there's anyone else, I also say you can shout out your mom, your dog, or your grandma, or all of the above. So shout out everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So the city of Waco, for sure, Parks and Rec, they've been phenomenal supporters. I think the way they love on young people here in this community, and the community at large, has been such a blessing to see. I love it. Who else?
Don't forget anybody. No, I'm kidding.
Right. It's so much pressure. First of all, our daughter. We have a 12-year-old, 6th grade girl who is game for everything, will stay up all hours of the night, is a yes ma'am kind of girl. She will do whatever, however, whenever. Now, she's still 12.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got a 15-year-old at home, so I know how it goes.
She's still 12. Like, she's still like, oh my God, you want me to walk back upstairs? Like, yes, ma'am. So puberty and all the things. But she's still, we couldn't ask for a better kid to
I love that.
do this entrepreneur journey with. Definitely athletics. They love on Larry in a way that I knew he needed coming from College Station. Working in the SEC is a beast, girl. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, I couldn't.
A beast. And we had a great tribe and community there, but just to come to Baylor and to see the positivity,
I love
and
that.
the family,
the optimism.
It's the family environment. I love how we don't have. It doesn't ever seem like when you own a business and you still serve where your family may work or whatever. Like, we handle that very carefully.
Yeah.
Larry's not a part of that, and they respect him, and they don't try to like mix and mingle, but they genuinely support him. So if we're in the community and they see us me post on social media,
Yeah.
they'll come find us, and it's irrespective to how they feel about him and work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They like honor the fact that we make good food, and that's just that. You never
Yeah.
want to I never ever want Larry to be in a position where they collide.
I got you.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they haven't.
I love
and they
that.
it almost feels like they're protecting him
Oh,
too. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So shout out to Baylor Athletics for sure. No Waco podcast.
Yay, we're so glad to have you here.
For sure. And I've had the pleasure of working with you before.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy for
We
you.
need to have you come cater again.
I know.
Whoop,
girl.
whoop.
So oh my gosh. Midway ISD, Waco ISD. I could go on and on and on. Providence, their hospital, especially Lauren Montgomery. She is a true unicorn for them. Cameron Park Zoo has been awesome for us. Gosh,
There's
I would
so
be
many
remiss
amazing
to
people.
leave someone out.
Oh,
I really would. But, you give people their flowers.
Yeah, there you go.
If I've missed you by name, the
Just
Millers,
leave a comment.
right, and charge it to my head and not my heart, but definitely the Millers.
Yes.
Keisha Miller with Slow Burn, Mobile Cigar Lounge has been a phenomenal friend for me, and helped me kind of like piece together where, when, who, and how to get around and maneuver. I'm a part of Leadership Plenty because of her.
Oh.
She was like, you should apply. I did, and
Yay.
I'm a part of this cohort with Eric.
Yes.
So shout out
Eric
to Leadership Plenty.
And Leadership Plenty. Whoop, whoop.
Right. And just the who's who, I feel like, in Waco.
Yeah.
Letting me form my own opinions and perspectives of who in Waco. And I just think that's empowering and unique because everyone has an opinion about who everybody is, right?
You know what they say about opinions? No, I'm kidding.
You know what I mean? What they say. And so that's been pretty cool to have someone say, you should try this, you should try this, you should go here. And then afterwards, after I do it, okay, well, this is my experience, and don't let it, taint you or whatever. It's just been great. It's been great to have a friend that it's hard. It's hard to make adult friends, first of all.
Well, yeah, being an adult is hard. And having friends is hard. And having other adult friends is hard.
So it's been pretty cool. And that's been fun. Yay. That's been really fun. And then the Chambers of Commerce. So we're members of Hewitt Chamber of Commerce, Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce, and the African American Chamber of Commerce. And those have been pretty dynamic relationships. Being able to learn from them has been pretty dope. Oh, Corey at Milo's.
Yes.
Well, Milo, but he has been extremely helpful in teaching us some of the semantics of restauranting, is what I'll call it. And Corey Dickman, and he has a good friend, Joshua Tree, who's our mechanic. He works on our truck a lot. Like,
we love him. We love you, Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua, the Max love you. We would not be rolling without you. So yeah, just some of those personal relationships that have, helped us along the way.
That's so amazing.
I'm glad you asked me that. I've not had the opportunity. I probably have, but I don't want to be the face. You know how people are the face of their brand? I don't want to be that. I want to be like...
Well, you're the voice of your brand because you're on a podcast.
No, I'm kidding. I don't want to be either. I want to be like...
It speaks for itself.
You don't know the franchise owner of McDonald's everywhere. You know what I mean? So...
But I love that you're a real person and you can talk about this and you're involved, and it's people connecting with people and people connecting with food. And what's better than that?
Well, nothing, especially my food. So shameless plug. If you want great Southern comfort food, feel free to come to Max Fry House in Union Hall, 720 Franklin Avenue. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Give us all your plugs where we can find you.
At Max Fry House. I keep it simple. We are starting to kind of move into what we envision for the brand. So on Saturdays, we'll be doing brunch. So look forward to that. That'll be dropping soon. Fish and grits, chicken and waffles, all the savory things.
I work right next to you. No, this is dangerous.
This is dangerous.
I was there yesterday.
And then on Sundays, we're going to do like a soul food Sunday. So we don't have like a... Are you familiar with K&W or Luby's?
Yeah, Luby's. My grandma worked at Luby's for 20 years.
So, like Luby's.
Yeah.
We don't have that in Waco.
No.
So, if you want a meal, with a starch and a vegetable or 2 vegetables or a veggie plate, after church,
that's the place.
Girl, we're your place. So, just kind of truly being Southern comfort and soul food inspiring and philanthropic is really what we're doing, girl.
That's I love that. Doing. And that's why we're so glad you're here. And again, we just love having you in the community. It's going to be a bright point for people to hang out, eat some good food, and have a good time.
Thank you for having us and keep doing what you're doing. You are literally awesome.
Aww.
Seriously.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners today?
Just be you. It's always going to rain.
Whoop,
but
whoop.
This too shall pass.
Ooh, I love that. Snaps.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.